Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Tuesday, May 17th. I'll call the meeting to order. Ask if you'll stand and join us in the singing of O Canada. Item 2.2 on the agenda, please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Item 2.3 on the agenda is the adoption of the open session agenda. Councillor Vail.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Richardson, that the agenda for the open session of the regular council meeting of Tuesday, May 17th, 2022 be adopted as circulated.
Thank you. Call the question. All in favor? That's passed. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in anything in the open session agenda today? Seeing none, notices and information by members of council and staff. Council, anyone have Councillor Richardson? Deputy Mayor Richardson, go ahead.
Thank you, and through you, just starting this week, the Fowler's Corners District Lions Club will be starting their cruise night. Weather permitting, all the way right through to September 15th. This group is very instrumental in raising local money for local charities. And also this weekend is the Bethany Athletic Society's May 2-4 weekend. They've been doing this event since 1908. There's celebrations in the park all weekend, fireworks on Friday night, big law ball tournament on Saturday. Sunday will be a show and shine show, and Monday will be a parade and auction. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Dunn.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to observe the passing of Mary Baker. Mary Baker was the town clerk of Fenelon Falls, and anything that needed to be done for 30 years, if you got it past Mary, then invariably it got done. She was fine service. She passed away at the age of 93 on the 22nd of April, and I just want to remember her service.
Thank you. Councillor Ashmore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few announcements. This past April 21st, we received the Connecting Links grant in Omemee. This is a reconstruction and resurfacing of King Street in the village of Omemee to modernize and make this more accessible to the people there. The announcement was made at the Omemee Legion, who at the same time received a grant from the Government of Ontario. I'd like to thank the following people who attended that day when we received this $3 million Connecting Links grant from the Province of Ontario. Mayor Letham, Deputy Mayor Richardson, Councillor Riley, MPP Laurie Scott, and Legion members Bill McQuaid, Karen Cooper, Donna Robinson. I'd like to thank Council for their support and and then the budget that helped us get this grant. And also I'd like to thank Director Juan Rojas and Dr. Adam Found and Corby Purdy and the rest of the engineering staff for their work in putting this together. It'll be done in 2 phases. The first phase will be the urban arterial resurfacing, and then the next phase will be the downtown beautification. City Kawartha Lakes is undertaking a planning process for the wastewater treatment system for the community of Omemee. The system was upgraded in 2013. The intent was to increase capacity by replacing the spray irrigation system by a large subsurface disposal system. Kawartha Lakes has identified that this large subsurface disposal system is not operating at its expected capacity, and measures may be required to ensure adequate capacity exists for future demands and growth in the community. The recommended options includes continued operation of the LSSD in conjunction with the previous spray irrigation system. All members of the public are invited to attend the second public information meeting, which will be held Wednesday, May 25th, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Zoom, and the link is on the city website. On Saturday, May 21st, there will be a plant sale presented by the Omemee Blooms Garden Club, rain or shine, Saturday, May 21st at the Omemee Legion. And there's a huge selection of perennials, vegetables, houseplants, and annuals. 2 more. At Lakeview Estates Community, there'll be a community yard sale on Saturday, May 21st at 8 a.m., and that's throughout the whole community there. And finally, the Globus Theatre, located in Bobcaygeon, has launched a $2 million capital campaign to purchase the Lakeview Arts Barn located at 2300 Pigeon Lake Road. As of now, they've raised $1.1 million. The reason is because of the pandemic in the last 2 years, they've had to quadruple their debt, and this is their solution to get out of this and move forward for the future. And they're excited about this new fundraiser, and over half has been raised already, so hoping that we'll be able to raise this to keep this very important arts facility going for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor O'Reilly?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The mayor is having a luncheon this Wednesday at 11 o'clock at Celebrations. The opening of the newly constructed place called Home will take place at 2 o'clock Saturday on the May 28th. Kawartha Downs is having their 50th anniversary Saturday, September 28th. There's a lot of people that go to the harness racing there, and there's a lot of horse owners in Kawartha Lakes, and it's going to be a car show and Kim Mitchell in the afternoon, harness racing at supper time and fireworks afterwards. And it's the 30th anniversary of the Lindsay District Sports Hall of Fame this year, and they're having a golf tournament at the Lindsay Golf Course on June 16th. And finally, I guess the provincial elections June 2nd. Everybody get out and vote.
Thank you. Any other announcements by council? Seeing none, I believe Mr. CAO, Mr. Taylor, has some exciting milestones to announce. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So to you and to members of council, you may know, May is annually the city's Employee Appreciation Month. And during that month, this is where we acknowledge employee milestones, try to get out there and celebrate our employee achievements. As you can appreciate, this has been especially difficult over the last 2 years, and limitations remain even today for us getting together with our employees and celebrating. However, I do think it is important to recognize and appreciate the contributions of our people. We will be recognizing retirees, and 25 years service is a typical annual event. We'll be doing that later this year. And at the same time, over this entire month, departments are acknowledging all milestones, and there's well over 100 staff that have met various milestones in their career here with us. So I want to thank you for just permitting, if I could, highlighting some long-standing employee milestones and acknowledge them today through you. So I'm going to start with 30-year of service employees here with the city, and I'll just quickly read through their names. Certainly, want to be conscious of your time, but I do think it's important that we touch on them. So the first is Ron Miller. He is a captain with the Volunteer Fire Service. He serves at Station 15 in Kirkfield. Scott Stevens, also with the Volunteer Fire Service, station coordinator at Station 8 in Pontypool. And Gregory Cook, with the same service. He's a station coordinator at Station 4 in Ops. Kathleen Farr is with our Human Services Division. She works in the laundry services. She's been doing that dedicated, again, for 30 years. Doug Thompson in our Public Works is a heavy equipment operator. He works out of the Emily Depot. Steve Lucas, Paramedic Services. He's recently a full-time superintendent in the service, also with us for 30 years now. Andrea Bartley in our Human Services Customer Relations. She's a representative in that service, 20 years as a PSW, 10 years in her current role. Sherry Lang, Human Services, in the Victoria Manor specifically, a PSW, again, 30 years of service. Scott Clayton, Human Services, he's our Eligibility Review Officer. He recently retired, but with 30 years of service. Ted Ryan, Community Services, Facility Maintenance. He recently as well retired from the city and worked in the southwest area for Parks and Rec, mainly in the Manvers Community Center. Next is a few employees that reached 35 years of service with us. Victor Callan, Public Works, he's an equipment operator through the Emily Depot. Peter Mosley, Community Services, Facility Maintenance, he's retiring very soon and worked out of the Fenelon Falls Community Center. And Carrie Clevin, our corporate services, our Manager of Information Technology. She's been with us for 35 years. And so I thank you for those overviews. We actually have further milestones in the career, but I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Latham to highlight those particular ones.
Thank you for that. Great news. 40 years of service. Kelly Mitchell, Public Works heavy equipment operator. Kelly is a heavy equipment operator. He's been a long-standing employee at the Emily Depot and lives in the community he services and continually demonstrating his dedication to support our local residents. Also at 40 years of service is Jane Pyle. Many of you know her well. CAO's Department Executive Assistant. Jane worked for the County of Victoria as Deputy Clerk and EA to the CAO and Warden leading up to amalgamation. Since amalgamation, she has worked in the position of EA to the CAO. 45 years of service, Donovan Barber is a station coordinator with the volunteer firefighters, and he serves as a station coordinator at Station 22 in Fenelon Falls. 50 years of service, Gerald Rintoul, volunteer firefighter, captain. Jerry currently serves as a captain at Station 22 in Fenelon Falls as well. And a real milestone, 60 years, Mr. John Bailey is a volunteer firefighter. John is the longest-serving volunteer firefighter in the city of Kawartha Lakes at Station 22 in Fenelon Falls as well. We certainly have a lot of experience at Fenelon Falls, don't we? We are thankful for your long-standing commitment, all of you, dedication and service. And just as a little bit of a side note, currently the longest-serving volunteer on record is 62 years. So we're hoping John can stay with us and continue on and make it into the record books at City of Kawartha Lakes. So certainly, I know I speak on behalf of all of council when we say thank you for your dedication to the city and to the residents that you serve. And I know it's been a pleasure working with all of you. So great news story. Thank you for that. Okay, we'll go right into item 5, which is council minutes, the regular council meeting of April 19th. Can I get a motion that the minutes of the April 19th, 2022 regular council meeting be received and adopted, please? Councillor Elmsley, second by Councillor O'Reilly. All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. Deputations, we have one deputation regarding the proposed sale of the unopened road allowance between 31 and 39 Fox Beach Lane in Carden. This is related to item 9.3.12 on the agenda from Committee of the Whole. Mr. Luke Kumar and Lev Galinsky, I believe, are with us. I think they were in the waiting room, so. They were? They're gone? Okay, let me know if they come back. We'll move right on. We're going to go down to item 7 in correspondence. Item 7.1, there is a correspondence from the City of Kawartha Lakes Integrity Commissioner, an annual report that they're legislated to send for the operating period February 28th, 21, 2021 to February 27th, 2022, from Charles Harnick. It's just a motion to receive for information, but I'm just going to ask the clerk to give us a quick overview of the correspondence, and then we'll see if there's any questions. Go ahead, Kathy.
So in accordance with the agreement and the Municipal Act, the Integrity Commissioner is required on an annual basis to provide a report. He has outlined some of the complaints, the requests for advice, and the billings. So on Appendix 1, when you look at the billing, it's $1,000 retainer per month as per his contract. There's some additional costs that are related to either requesting advice or a complaint opened and closed or opened and terminated. So if there's any specific questions, please ask.
Any questions on the correspondence? Seeing none, then can I get a motion to receive that correspondence, please? Councillor Dunn, Councillor Yeo, thank you. All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you. Presentations, we have none. Committee of the Whole. Correspondence regarding Committee of the Whole recommendations, we have none at this time. Committee of the Whole meeting from May 3rd, 2022. I have no extractions so far. Are there any extractions from Committee of the Whole? Seeing none, can I get a motion that the minutes of the May 3rd, 2022 Committee of the Whole meeting be received and the recommendations included in section 9.3 of the agenda be adopted, please? Deputy Mayor Richardson, seconded by Councillor Vale. Comments, questions, all in favor? And that's passed. Thank you. This is a lot easier not having to look up at the screen, just having everybody here in the room, so thank you. Okay, let me catch up here. Committee of the Whole, we're over to Planning. Item 10, Planning Advisory Committee. There's no 10.1 correspondence regarding the Planning Advisory Committee. There is none at this time. So the Planning Advisory minutes, there was one report. Is everybody okay with that report? Okay, can I get a motion then that the minutes of the May 4th, 2022 Planning Advisory Committee meeting be received and the recommendations included in section 10.3 of the agenda be adopted? Councillor Vale and O'Reilly, any questions on that report? All in favor? That's passed. Consent agenda. I have one extraction, 11.1.12, by Councillor Ashmore, the Master Fire Plan and Fire Service Modernization Review. Are there any other extractions from the consent agenda? Seeing none, Councillor Dunn, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Elmsley, that all the proposed resolutions in section 11.1 of the agenda be approved and adopted by council in the order they appear on the agenda and sequentially numbered, save and except item 11.1.112-ish.
Thank you. You had a seconder? Second?
Seconded by Councillor Emsley.
Thank you. Questions, comments, all in favor? That's passed. 11.1.12, Councillor Ashmore, your extraction, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just through you to Fire Chief Jones, if he's available. Just had a question about this. Something in the report.
Let's just make sure he's up here. He is. There he is.
There he is.
Hello, Chief Jones. Welcome. Councillor Ashmore's got a question on the report. Go ahead, Ron.
Thanks, and thanks for the report. My question pertains to hall number 2, station number 2, on page 275 of the report. It's generally known that this particular fire hall is in need of either replacing or expansion. What's the plan in the next 10 years to replace Omemee Hall in perhaps building a new one just outside the village, perhaps to the east? Because at one time, Omemee had full-time firefighters, but we're not going to go down that path, but they're volunteers now. But they do require a newer hall in the future. We did some renovations, which were great. We put a new bay door in, a new door at the front, new cement pad at the back. But is there any plan in the next 10 years that we can work this in so the community of Omemee can get a new fire hall, Chief?
From you, Mr. Mayor, third to the councillor, just an update of where we are under the our location information plan for the stations. Originally, Omimi was sitting about 13th in the rank, and they're now sitting 4th. There's still nothing anticipated within the next 10 years, but that's, like I said, they have moved up in the rank from 13th to 4th on our agenda. As far as looking that far ahead of location or whatever, I certainly haven't moved that far as of this time.
Chief Jones, do you foresee any work being done in Omimi as a result of that change in ranking within the next 10 years, or is that sort of a longer range view than that? This fire plan, I think, is only sort of targeting the next 10 years, so.
But that's correct. It's, like I said, on our list, it's showing 4th, which doesn't come up within the next 10 years. General maintenance is still going on, redoing the floors, the kitchen, just update the hall as best we can. But I still do believe there is a couple other halls, one in actually, Omimi and Dunsford which is in the councilor's area, but that need to be looked at prior to Omimi.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, can I get a mover does anybody want to move the motion as printed? Fire plan, Councillor Ashmore, second by Councillor Dunn. Any further questions or comments? All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you, Chief. Okay, petitions, item 12, we have none. Other or new business, we have none. Bylaws, just before, I don't know if there's any extractions from the bylaws, but before we do extractions, I know Councillor Elmsley had a question, a comment about 1415. You were looking for some clarification, so rather than extract it, why don't you just go ahead? Director Stover, I believe, is on the line, so go ahead, get your clarification, and if you're okay, we'll just leave it as is.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And through you to Director Stover, there appears to be some confusion in this bylaw about who is eligible in terms of people age 65 and over who are receiving the old age pension supplement can be eligible for the $175 relief. But if you're over 65, you're still making under $30,000, but over $24,000 and not getting the supplement, you're not eligible to receive the $175 relief. And it seems to be a misunderstanding with the policy, and I'm wondering if you could clarify that, please.
Sure, through the mayor. So the guaranteed income supplement that's eligible for individuals over 65 has varying income levels attached to it. So it's not just the 24,000. It depends on your family situation. There's a number of different criteria, but certainly staff are looking to review this entire policy. It hasn't been reviewed in a number of years. There's questions about whether the $175 still makes sense. And so that's something we'll be considering in 2023 when we bring forward these bylaws again, because they do come up every year. But really the intent is really that anybody that's age 55 and over who has an income of less than $30,000 a year should be able to apply for this program.
Thank you for that. I'm interested in bringing a memo forward to council and asking for a report back later this year on this whole bylaw. Would that be appropriate?
That would certainly be appropriate. And if I could add to that, if we're going to look at the tax relief program, we might as well also look at the water relief program that's available for seniors.
That'd be great. I will draft something and I'll share it with you, and we can tweak it if necessary so that we get this looked at properly. Mr. Mayor, I assume that meets with your approval?
That's fine, thank you. Okay, any other questions on the bylaws? Seeing none, Councillor Ashmore, you have bylaws, go ahead.
moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Riley, that the bylaws shown in section 14.1 of the agenda, namely items 14.1.12 and including 14.1.22, be read a first, second, and third time, passed, numbered, signed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. Call the question. All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. 15 is notice of motion. We have none. We're now looking at, we're already at closed session. Can I get a motion, 16.1, for the adoption of the closed session agenda, please? Councillor Riley, seconded by Councillor Yeo. All in favor? That's passed. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in closed session items? Councillor Seymour Fagan, go ahead.
Okay. I declare a conflict of interest under the Act for item 16.3.3 in closed session, as the Integrity Commissioner investigation report deals with my role as a councillor. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Now, I just want to point out that there is an exemption under the Municipal Act that the following rules apply if the matter under consideration at a meeting or a part of a meeting is to consider whether to suspend the remuneration paid to the member under subsection 223.4, 5, or 6 of the Municipal Act. Despite clauses 1, B, and C, the member may take part in the discussion after declaring a conflict of interest of the matter, including making submissions to council or the local board as the case may be, and may attempt to influence the voting on any question in respect of the matter, whether before, during, or after the meeting. However, the member is not permitted to vote on any question in respect to the matter. Despite subsection 2, in the case of a meeting that is not open to the public, the member may attend the meeting or part of the meeting during which the matter is under consideration. So just for clarification, councillors, your intent to apply this exemption and attend the closed session knowing that you cannot vote on the issue? It is? Can you just say into the microphone, yes? Thank you. Okay, any other declarations of pecuniary interest for closed? Seeing none, I have my script. At this point in the meeting, City Council will go into closed session to consider the items under section 16.3 of the agenda. All remaining staff, with the exception of the CAO, City Clerk, and City Solicitor, are now instructed to leave the electronic meeting at this time. As per our procedural bylaw requirements, I'm asking all remaining participants in our meeting today to confirm to me by raising their hands that they are in a private room. I'm not sure we have anybody else on Zoom. Robin's going to attend? Okay. Robin, are you there? She gone? There you are.
Hi, sorry. I didn't think I was attending this one.
That's okay. You're not obligated to attend this one. I'm just, you're the only one left in closed, so we're just asking if you're going to attend. Maybe you can just sit tight in case there's any legal questions off to the side, but okay. I just need to know that no other person can overhear your deliberation and the internet connection is secure and not publicly accessible. And if you'll just raise your hand to confirm that, thank you. I need a mover and a seconder that council convene into closed session at 1:28 p.m. pursuant to section 239.2 of the Municipal Act in order to consider matters identified in section 16.3 of the regular council meeting agenda of Tuesday, May 17th, 2022, namely item 16.3.1, 2 and including 16.3.3. Moved by Councillor Elmsley, second by Councillor Ashmore. All those in favor? That's passed. It's carried. At this point, the meeting broadcast will now end. For members of the public watching on Cogeco, Your TV Cable, live stream of the meeting on YouTube will now be temporarily paused for members of the public. When closed session is complete, the live stream of the meeting will resume to address the remaining open session items on the agenda. So let's just take 5 minutes and we'll make sure we're disconnected from the world, and then we'll do our closed. Okay, we're welcome back. We're back in open session. We have some matters from closed session. Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Matters from closed session, item 16.3.1, confidential closed session minutes. The confidential closed session minutes from April 19th, 2022, regular council meeting were approved. Item 16.3.2, a motion is required that the following members be appointed to the Active Transportation Master Plan Task Force for the remainder of the current term of council being November 14th, 2022. Councillor Pat O'Reilly, John Spears, Peter Petrosoniak, Greg Scott, Daryl Broadworth, Ellen Woodward, Glenda Morris, Barbara McPherson, George Pinot, Bill Steffler, Arthur Hornibrook, Melissa McFarland, Mary Jean Porteous, Pat Warren, John Bush, that the Active Transformation Plan Task Force terms of reference be revised to list the task force composition as up to 7 members of the public and 7 stakeholder representatives and 1 council representative.
Thank you. Need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Vale, Councillor Yeo. Any questions? All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. Regarding item 16.3.3 from closed session, the Integrity Commissioner's Investigative Report IC-16215-0422 was reported to Council in closed session in accordance with Section 223.6, Bracket 1 of the Municipal Act 2001. The Integrity Commissioner concluded that Councillor Seymour Fagan contravened Section 5.1.b and c of the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act and therefore contravened Section 6.1 bracket c of the Code of Conduct and recommended penalties for the breach. Council has directed that Councillor Seymour Fagan receive a penalty as follows: suspended pay for 1 pay period, 2 weeks, remuneration including expenses from the city commencing June 12th, 2022. The city will make the report received from the Integrity Commissioner available to the public forthwith in accordance with Section 223.6 bracket 3 of the Municipal Act 2001. The report will be posted on the city's website by the end of the day, May 18th, 2022. Confirming bylaw. Who has the confirming bylaw? Councillor O'Reilly.
Moved by myself, second by Councillor Ashmore, the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the regular council meeting Tuesday, May 17, 2020, be read a first, second, third time, passed, numbered, sealed, and the corporate seal attached.
Thank you. All in favor? That's passed. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Yeo, Councillor O'Reilly, all in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you.